Hey guys, how are we doing? I'm so sorry I haven't posted in ages. I was so busy this month. I had revision, I was working, I was going out, my camera wasn't working, just lots was happening, and filming unfortunately wasn't one of them. I hope you guys are doing well. I know this month can be quite tough. I know you've probably heard about from universities, you've got your offers or your rejections, and you've probably started your revision and exams feel like everything probably feels like it's coming quite close. And I hope you're not feeling too stressed out. Please don't be. Give yourself that time to relax, give yourself that time to breathe, and I hope you hang in there. You'll get through it. Today I want to talk a little bit about interviews and interview technique, because this is something I get asked about quite a bit, and I know some people will have interviews in April, and of course at the end of like this year when the cycle begins again there will be those with interviews, and hopefully this is helpful. I've got a few things about interviews. My first thing would absolutely be preparation. The worst thing is to go out of an interview thinking, I could have done more prep, I could have like practiced more for it. So make sure you're not in that position. Do your practice early on. When you're prepping for an interview, especially with med interviews, general kind of questions are, why medicine? Why do you want to be a doctor? Why did you choose this university? What's the teaching style of this university? And then the fifth thing is, I would say really important, is the skills. And this is so common, so common. Every single interview I think I've had, all four of them, this year and last year, asked this kind of thing. And it's things like the skills that you need to be, like to study that course. And I think regardless of whether it's traditional or panel, there is a very good chance that they'll ask you something based on that. And a really good task to prep yourself for this is, what I'd say is, make a list of all the skills that you think a doctor needs, or a dentist if you're going for dentistry. So things like leadership, communication, teamwork, organisation, confidence, resilience, compassion. Make a list, make maybe like 10 to 15 skills, and then next to it either write down or think about a situation where you've shown that skill. What was it like? Were you at school? Was it on D&V? What happened? Did something go wrong? How did you resolve it? How did you think that you did it go? Why is that skill important for that profession? These are so great, even if you're going for like a job interview as well. I think any interview, whether it be job or like captain of school or any kind of university interview, this is such a good thing to do, because it just prepares you really nicely. Because I'm pretty sure every single like interview I had, they've asked something like that. And yeah, and that kind of style of answering of this, I was in this position, this is what happened, and this was the effect of it, and this is why it's important for this job. It's just really kind of straightforward, and gives you a little bit of like structure to your answer. So definitely prepare for those. In terms of other med questions, what I did is I basically just searched the internet. I went on pretty much like every single website out there and made like a document with maybe 300 questions on it, or all to do like different things they could possibly ask me. I won't lie, the annoying thing is when they don't ask, and there's like inevitably they won't ask everything on that list. And I remember coming out of this year's interview and last year's interviews being like, I went and read about this and this and this and this, and I knew all these statistics. Why didn't they come through? You know, that just happens. But I think it's better to be over-prepared than to be under-prepared. However, saying that, please do not practice too much. I think the worst thing is when you go into an interview and you come out with like a plastic, artificial answer, like just something that you don't believe in. I think it gets to a point, it's good to practice a little bit. Like, that's always good. It makes you feel confident and makes you like you don't waffle as much. That's good. Then you get to a point where it becomes, you don't believe in the answer anymore, the interviewer doesn't believe in it, and it just becomes just blur. And just, you want to make sure your answers have passion. And so yeah, that's what I would say mainly in terms of prep. Also work experience, make sure you properly reflect on that. What did you see? Why was it good? What were the good bits? Like, identify the bad bits, acknowledge them, but don't be like, this was awful, you know, just mention it a little bit. I'm trying to think, is that it? I think that's like the main things I'd say with interviews. Unfortunately, there are going to be questions that you can't prep for. Pretty much every single one of my interviews, there was something that they said and I was like, right, okay. With those kind of questions, take a moment, breathe, and be like, you know, I think it's best to really process it. Don't go with whatever, you know, comes to your mind straight away. And they will, you know, they will allow you to kind of, you know, you can just be like, can I think about that for a second? That's fine. It shows that you're thinking carefully, and think about it. And then just give what you feel in that moment is the best response. I know after that station, I remember the amount of times I've came out of a station in an interview and I sat down, I was like, why did I say that? That was awful. I could have said this or this or this. And, you know, it's dreadful. But yeah, unfortunately, you know, there are going to be questions you can't prepare for. It's just how you react to them. Take that moment. That moment is worth so much. Take a moment to really think about it. The second stage, when you're in an interview, for me, I always say 50% of your interview is your body language, how you say things, how you approach the question, how you walk, how you talk, all of that. The other 50 is like what you actually say, like the substance to it. And I think the best kind of position you can be in is when, in terms of your body language, really think about that. Are you coming across as someone who's confident, who is friendly? For me, this is why I like interviews. I think I can do that quite easily. That's why, you know, that kind of stuff is good for me. I have friends who find that quite tricky, to come across as someone who's confident and quite friendly, like, even though they are, but to a complete stranger, that's quite tricky. I would always say just believe in yourself. I think if you don't believe in yourself, it's so tricky for someone else to believe in you. Anytime I have an interview for anything, I always like prep myself up. Like even when I do like a dance performance, before it, I'm always like, you're amazing, you can do this, you're this person. Really hype yourself up, and they go into it. Nerves will always be there. I've been nervous for every interview I had last year and this year. With nerves, I think it's hard to kind of not be nervous. I always just kind of be like, Manisha, you've got this, you're amazing, you prepared for this, it's gonna be great. Even if I think it'll be dreadful, just tell myself it'll be great. And yeah, that's kind of how it is. In terms of talking to someone, it's always nice to shake someone's hand, but don't force it if it's not working. A big smile as well, show that you want to be there, even if you're dreading this. And usually, you know, there will be friendly interviewers and it's great. Sometimes there are going to be mean interviewers, or even worse, the interviewer who's just blank poker face and you're there like, am I saying the right thing? Am I saying the wrong thing? I don't know. Please just let me know. Unfortunately, that happens. You've kind of just got to go with it. And yeah, just throughout the entire thing, keep it passionate, keep it friendly, keep it happy. And I think I always don't think of it as an interview where, oh, they're trying to see how bad I am, they're trying to get me out. That's not it. Change that mindset. Think of it as something where it's almost like a performance of how amazing you are. You've done so much preparation, hopefully, for this. You've done your work experience. You've put in all the hours. This is your opportunity to show these people how amazing you are and how perfect you are to be a doctor or a dentist or whatever it is. And that's how I kind of approach an interview. Don't think of it as you're performing to someone. You're showing how amazing you are, and they are on your side. They want to give you a place. You just need to be able to give it to them, if that makes sense. So yeah, just be confident. I always tell people, be confident, smile, believe in yourself. And then the final stage is post-interview, and this is probably one of the toughest things. I remember last year with Newcastle, you can watch my video about Newcastle actually, I thought it was awful. I came out of it so upset, so sad. I remember meeting my mum after for coffee and I was just really down, and I was just there like I just felt like it was awful, dreadful. And what happened? I got an interview. This year, King's, I came out of it feeling so bad. That was like, it was like the worst feeling I've ever had for anything. And I thought the chance of me getting an offer was so slim, like just so unlikely. But it happened. I won't, you know, it doesn't mean that every single time it goes badly, you will get an offer. It just means that your perception of how something went isn't necessarily how accurate, like it isn't very accurate. And also a really important thing to remember, and I remember last year my friend and I would always joke how an actual doctor could do a med interview and wouldn't get in. Like I felt like there was always, they wanted so much from you. And the reality is you don't need to be perfect. They're never going to look for someone who is 100% perfect, because, you know, that's not it. You're going to med school to learn, to grow, to become this person. They're looking for someone with potential. So don't feel worried if you came out. I've went to every single one of my interviews. like at King's, there was a station, I said the wrong thing, like it was wrong, the lady corrected me, I still got the interview. Like, please don't worry if it goes wrong. I think the worst thing when you come out of an interview is you think about it over and over and you replay it in your head, and you basically just beat yourself up about it, and you're like, oh, I should have said that, why did I do this, or I should have done that. Like, it's gone, it's in the past, try your best to forget about it. Easier said than done, I know. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel, and just focus on your next thing, whether that be your next interview or your next exam or whatever it is you have coming up next. Focus on that. What's in the past is done with, and hopefully it goes well. And yeah, that's pretty much all of my things for med interviews. They are a scary thing, or they feel like a scary thing, but you've just got to believe in yourself. Absolutely believe in yourself, believe in who you are, believe that you can do it, and just prove to them that you can. And hopefully that helps. Hopefully that's not too generic. That's truly what I believe and truly what I do for any, and how I approach any interview. Like I said earlier, I hope this month has been well for you guys. I hope you've heard back and got the news that you wanted to. If you haven't got the news that you wanted to, please do not be too upset. You know, I know it's such a difficult position to be in, but please don't focus on that. Focus on your grades if you're in year 13. Focus on what you need to do now to achieve those, and then what will come, you know, what happens. But do not be too upset, please. But yeah, that's everything from me. Hope you enjoyed this. You can go check out my social media at _Manisha P on Twitter and Instagram, and go onto my own YouTube channel at _Manisha P as well. And yeah, that's everything from me. Subscribe to the Student Room for lots more content, and I hope you guys are doing very, very well. Bye!